Chiefs Kingdom, you are listening to one happy camper because the Chiefs finally put a complete game together and beat a good team in the Detroit Lions. And I am so happy because it looks like the Chiefs are back. And not only that, but Rashee Rice is back. He's missed, the last 20 games or so after he went out with a lower leg injury or an upper leg injury last season. And then he served a 6-game suspension. And I want to talk about what Rashee Rice coming back to this team means to Kansas City. But before we get there, the Chiefs offense has scored 30 points twice. 30 or more points twice in its last 3 games. It only did that 2 times in 2024 and 2 times in 2023. We've already done it twice in 6 games in 2025. Why is this happening? Well, partially it's because Mahomes is throwing the ball deep again. His average air yards in 2024 were 6.3 air yards per pass attempt. Now that was the 3rd worst last year. In 2025, he's averaging just a little over 8 air yards per pass attempt, which is 5th best in the NFL among quarterbacks who have played all 6 games to start the season. Why is this? Why is it that Mahomes is all of a sudden throwing the ball deeper? Is he just making this decision all of a sudden? No, it's not because he's making a decision. It's because he has time. The offensive line has gotten fixed in Kansas City. And how about last week versus a good Lions pass rush with Jalen Moore stepping in, not even missing a beat from what Joshua Simmons was doing, and the Chiefs were able to shut down that Lions pass rush. Yes, Mahomes was sacked a couple of times, but it didn't have a huge impact in the game. A short aside on Josh Simmons, I kind of want to throw some shade at everyone on Twitter that was saying, they were frustrated with Josh Simmons for missing a game for personal reasons. I mean, seriously, we have no idea what's going on. He never missed a game in college for any personal reasons. And just to assume that some guy is slacking because he perhaps or most likely is dealing with the family trauma or family tragedy is disgusting. I mean, if something happened to your family, wouldn't you want to be there for them? So whatever's going on with Josh Simmons has to be tragic for him to miss games in this manner. We don't know if he's going to miss multiple games or not. And kudos to a Chiefs organization who is a first-class organization for not leaking a single word about what is happening in Joshua Simmons' personal life. It might take a few months for whatever's happening to get out, or it might never come out. This is Josh Simmons' personal business. And if I had something tragic happen with my family, I wouldn't want the public to know. And if I spoke about it publicly, at that point in time, I had made the decision, yes, it's okay for more people to know about this. So I want to say to everyone, let's be patient with Josh Simmons. We have no idea what is going on in his personal life. It has to be tragic because he has never missed a game for personal reasons before. He has a reputation of playing unless he's injured. So whatever's going on with Josh Simmons, his personal business, all I can do is say a prayer for him and hope that he's getting through whatever he's getting through, and I'm assuming it's got to be pretty bad. So he is part of the Chiefs' offensive line, which is playing much better in 2025. You thought that whenever the Chiefs traded Joe Thuney, they were losing one of the strongest pieces of their offensive line, and they were really going to be hurting in 2025. But it turns out Kingsley Suamataia was ready to play left guard for this Chiefs offensive line, and wow, has it been impressive. So the reason Mahomes is able to throw the ball deeper down the field is not because he's making a concerted decision. I mean, that's part of it. But the primary reason is because he has time for those routes to develop. Last year, he was one of the quickest quarterbacks to release the ball in the pocket. I don't have the statistics for this year, but I would assume that he's had more time, and he's holding on to the ball longer. And he can hold on to the ball more longer because he's getting that good protection. So Rashee Rice, it took 23 games, but we finally get to see the combination of Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown all working together. Now, we mentioned Mahomes' average depth of target is 8 yards in 2025. Rashee Rice, through his career, average depth of target was 5 yards. So he's always been a short underneath receiver, and at least for his first 2 years. But you look at that difference in air yards from 2024 to 2025, jumping 1.7 yards, and that kind of gives me the concept that perhaps they're going to use Rashee Rice a little bit differently in 2025. They're maybe going to put him in more intermediate routes. If you remember 2023, 2024, the Chiefs offense was talking about how they thought they could use Rashee Rice in the intermediate area of the field. They just needed to get him accustomed to it. He's had a ton of time to study the Chiefs offense. He was already exceptional at finding the weak spot in the defense, and I think that's going to continue. If you remember, before he went out with that injury, he and Mahomes were almost getting close to that Kelsey Mahomes level of synchronization in their noggins. So Rashee Rice, I think, is going to come into this Chiefs offense. They're going to work him in gradually. He has to get back into football shape. He has to get hit a few times. I think it would be foolish for Andy Reid to put him out there for 100% of the snaps. He needs to maybe see 40% in his first game, then 50, 60, all the way up till he's ready to take hits on a game-by-game basis. So while Rashee Rice averages 5 air yards per target, he's has a career average of almost 12 yards per reception. So that means every time Rashee Rice has caught the ball, it's plus 7 yards after the catch. And I think that's going to be the thing that Chiefs fans see whenever Rashee Rice starts playing, that they're going to be like, oh yeah, I missed this guy. It's going to be what he can do after the catch. He's no nonsense. He gets downfield, and before you know it, he catches a ball, it takes 3 steps, and he's 8 yards down the field. So this is a huge boost to a Chiefs offense who has already been playing well. And with the Chiefs offense playing better in 2025, you have to kind of ask yourself the question, this team is changing.
Prophet X, America's #1 sports prediction market, is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market where users play against each other instead of a sports book versus the house. You will almost always get the best price on any spread, money line, total, or player prop since you're playing against other people rather than the book. Prophet X offers sweepstakes-based dual currency system, either Profit Points or Profit Cash, and operates across 40 states. Use the promo code RGR and claim up to $200 in Profit Cash on all plays for the first 30 days playing on the site. ProfitX gives you the best lines in the space, and you can even set your own odds on specific wagers on your players, all at ProfitX. Go there and use the code RGR. Terms and conditions apply.
What is the 2025 Chiefs' new identity? Because this is no longer that defensive slugfest football team. This is a team that can throw some punches. And the team has always been pass heavy with Mahomes, which they should be because you have the greatest player perhaps who's ever played the game of football, and you got to use him. I mean, what are you doing offensively if you're not using this incredible player as much as you possibly can within reason? However, in 2025, it seems the Chiefs have taken that even a step further and are throwing the ball even more. And so the Chiefs' identity offensively in 2025 is still through Mahomes. They're going to be a pass-heavy offense. But the things that have changed are that they're going to take more deep shots when they're available, and the offensive line is of high quality. The pass blocking is very efficient. More efficient than it was in 2023, more efficient than it was in 2024. Because of that, they're going to take deep shots. They have the time to throw the ball, and that's part of their identity now. They're going to be looking downfield, they're going to be protecting, and they're going to have time in the pocket. We've seen through these 6 games Mahomes gradually getting better and better at this because he's got to get used to it. He's been kind of running like a chicken with his head cut off the last few years, and now that he has a little more protection, especially at left tackle, it makes a huge difference. In short yardage situations and must-have areas of the game, the Chiefs are going to lean on Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, for all his shortcomings, is damn near a guaranteed yard every time he gets the ball. So if you need a yard, he'll give you 2. And his success rate on this is something like 10 out of 11 so far in 2025. He's elite at short yardage situations. So if the Chiefs are in a short yardage situation, they're most likely going to Kareem Hunt. If it's a 4th and 3, they're most likely going to go to Travis Kelce. But they also have tons of tools in their toolbox that they can go to besides those two. But part of their identity is they're going to be efficient in short yardage situations because they have two of the best short yardage players in the NFL currently. They're a team offensively that is also going to be known for their wide receiver quality. This is the best receiving group Mahomes has had since the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, especially with Rashee Rice coming back. This should be an offensive unit that, by the end of the year, if they're not in the top 5 offensively, I will be shocked. If they're not in the top 5 offensively, I will personally show up to Arrowhead Stadium with a pitchfork and a torch and call for Matt Nagy's job. This offensive unit is that good. They have the players to be dominant. They just have to go out and execute. Defensively, the Chiefs aren't as good as they were in 2023 and 2024. This group has declined a little bit. And part of that decline is through Chris Jones. He just hasn't been as productive as he was last year or the years prior. And that's to be expected. He's on the wrong side of 30. There's going to be some bumps along the way. And so the identity of this Chiefs defense is that they're going to be a coverage team. They're going to mix and match their coverages. They're going to try to confuse the living heck out of the opposing quarterback. They're going to be blitz heavy because they trust in their coverage unit. And they're going to play a gap sound run style defense, or they're going to play gap sound run defense with weaknesses at nose tackle, but they're thinking that they can compensate for those weaknesses at nose tackle with above average linebacker play. And they've done that already. This current construction of the Chiefs team plays right into the strengths of their coaching staff. So Andy Reid, phenomenal pass game offensive coordinator, and Spagnuolo, outstanding pass defensive coordinator. The way this Chiefs team is constructed, they're going to be good at the pass on offense. They're going to be good at stopping the pass on defense. They're going to try to confuse the opposing quarterback on defense. This plays right into the strengths of who the Chiefs coaching staff is and who they want to be. I know this team is 3-3. They've had a difficult start, but I am very excited for what this team will be able to accomplish in 2025. And I would not be surprised, even if they have a difficult schedule, if they go and win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row. I would not be surprised by this at all with the way this team is coming together. And I like the way this team is playing to their strengths, both in the coaching staff and with their position players. So this is me saying good things on the horizon for this team. Regarding who the Chiefs are in their identity, they have certain teams they'll be strong against and certain teams they'll be weak against. The teams they'll be strong against are teams that have a defense centered around a good pass rush. Since the Chiefs have such good pass protection, if a team is basing their entire defense around their pass rush, then it's going to be a hard go for that defense against this Chiefs offense. We saw that last week, or this weekend, whenever the Chiefs played the Lions. They had a very good pass rush, not so good secondary, and the Chiefs just destroyed them. Another type of team this Chiefs team will be successful against is young quarterbacks. So they have a good pass coverage team, and they're good at confusing the opposing quarterbacks. So if you have a young quarterback that's coming in that hasn't seen a lot of things in the NFL, Spagnuolo is going to feast on that. They'll also be good against nearly any secondary with this group. They're obviously going to have struggles versus elite defenses. I mean, elite defenses are hard to go against no matter what. But if a team has a poor secondary, this Chiefs team is just going to destroy that group. Teams that this version of the Chiefs are going to be weak against are going to be teams that have a good run blocking unit, especially at the guard and center position. So if you can get push in the middle of your offensive line versus this Chiefs defense, they're going to have a hard time. They'll also have a hard time against teams that have a good line that has a quarterback that knows how to set protections. We saw this with Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars were able to pick up every single blitz that the Chiefs threw at him, and so it made it difficult for the Chiefs to have those game-changing plays where the defense picks up the big sack, and before you know it, the Chiefs are going to win the game. So that's their weakness. They're going to be weak against teams who are good running the ball up the middle and weak against teams who have quarterbacks who are really good at setting protections. Other than that, I think that the Chiefs are going to be very successful this season. Even though they started out 3-3, I have the utmost confidence in this unit. So now's your time to let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this Chiefs team as it's currently constructed. Are you as optimistic as I am, or are you pessimistic? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you for hanging around through the whole video. Got nothing but love and appreciation for you, all of you. Hit the subscribe button and the like button if you've not done so already. But this is Gary signing out. Great win for Kansas City versus a very good Lions team. Let's go Chiefs.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.